this is John Henny. I'm a voice teacher and the author of Teaching Contemporary Singing. And today I'm going to do a reaction analysis video of Dimash Kudaibergen. I think I said that right. So without further ado, this has been heavily requested.
哦，我觉得好帅哦，上镜。我觉得有点像林志炫啊。
So, a competition show. Look at this guy already setting the mood with his eyes. Performers, singers, your eyes are so incredibly important. And I've talked about this before on my podcast, that using your eyes is so important. They really are the windows to your soul. And he's already setting a mood with his eyes and drawing in the audience and setting expectations. So I'm interested to see where this goes. So he's using his eyes. The other thing he's doing really well right off the bat is singers sometimes start too big. Now it depends on the song, but this song is starting very, very delicately, and he is using an appropriately delicate vocal approach. This gives him a lot of room to grow this vocal and somewhere to go. And again, his eyes are open. Singers, don't be closing your eyes all the time. He's communicating with his eyes and his voice. So he's young, but he's obviously an experienced performer. That was nice. Okay, so he gets, a singer basically has three things they can play with. And I'm going to oversimplify here, but you have the amount of air that you send to your vocal cords. You have how much the vocal cords resist the air and thus creating different intensities of the sound wave. And then what the singer does with his resonance chambers, primarily the throat and the mouth, and he's already starting to play with intensity and also the depth of his resonance tube. So if I lower my larynx here, this bump in front of my neck, if I make that a little deeper, I get a richer sound because it's a longer tube. If I make it a little higher, I get a brighter sound because it's a shorter tube. So he's already, he's getting that depth on there and starting to play with it. Very nice. Wow, he's up, yeah, he's up on soprano F sharps. So that's already impressive. This is, and it's quite easy for him. This is, and I know a lot of people have requested me to do a reaction to him. And I was expecting something out of the ordinary, and he's certainly already delivering on that. And I love how delicately he's able to do that, the attack, if you will, or how he's starting the note. He's able to bring the chords together so that they're not slamming, just this little delicate touch. Really well done. Wow. Obviously for effect, but he really does this well. He's approximating the sound of a female operatic voice. And what he's doing is he's making his tube a little deeper. So he's getting what you call that kind of open throat sound, but then he's keeping the mouth more narrow and rounded. And what that does is that takes away the high frequencies, or he's essentially taking an EQ and he's dialing off the high frequencies to get that very almost hollow, fluty woo sound. And then with his vocal folds, he's making just enough contact to create a robust sound, but not so much that it starts to sound too intense or even too male-like. It's great how he just did that. That's, yeah, I mean, look at these. I don't know if these are his competitors, but I think they're just going, I don't know if I can top that. And now a slightly brighter sound, a little more vocal fold contact. So he's going more into a male pop sound. So he's showing us a lot of different colors in the voice. He's back up on that F sharp, but this time, the first time he did it in more of a countertenor style, a male approximating a almost female classical sound. Now what he's done is he's raised his larynx, okay, so that the resonating tube is shorter. It's going to bring out higher frequencies, and he's got a little more contact of the vocal folds, and he's also opening up the vowel, which is going to make it brighter and more intense. So that's why he's getting that bitier sound. So when I talked about those three elements that you can play with, the breath, the resistance at the vocal folds, and then the vowel, he is already manipulating these really, really well, extraordinarily well. And he obviously has a remarkable extensive range. So he's got the audience in the palm of his hand. And back to the female, back to the countertenor sound. Notice how he keeps the vowels there very, very rounded, very delicate, because he doesn't want the high bitey frequencies that he had on that previous note. So this is kind of an extreme example. This is very instructive of what the voice is capable of and the different colors. This is somebody with an extraordinary voice, an extraordinary gift. I mean, if you think about it, to be blessed with the equipment to be able to do this, that's one thing. But then you also have to have the ability to recognize your gift, develop your gift, musicality, to be able to connect with an audience. So it's rare that we get to experience voices like this. There are people walking around, possibly with his gift in terms of just raw, what nature gave them, but it's never developed. It's never really discovered. So we're extraordinarily lucky when somebody with that gift recognizes it and takes the time to develop it. Just a nice touch. Oh my goodness. Well, my keyboard doesn't go that high. Oh my gosh. So he's up on that high E, that soprano high E. That's remarkable. So we have to talk about how singers are able to do this. And this is something that it's almost, if you think of somebody you know that maybe has hypermobility, or maybe they're able to like double jointed, if you say like their elbow, they can bend it further than the rest of us. They're just more mobile. There's something like this going on here. If a voice teacher tells you that they can teach anyone to do that, they can't. We all have limitations within our voice, and his limitations are very different than most of us. That's an extremely high note for a male singer. I'm trying to think in my experience if I've ever taught anyone that can go that high. I think I can only think of one person, and I'm talking thousands of students that I've taught. That's incredibly remarkable, and just the control that he has over that. That's why, I mean, this gentleman here on the right doesn't know what he just witnessed. He just looks stunned. As I don't know if he's a fellow competitor, but you're just simply not going to be able to compete on that level. I mean, that's not something you can train. That's something nature gave him. Wow, so he's going from, again, he's manipulating the length of his resonating tube, and he's going back and forth depending on the color he wants. I mean, he's able to just pull colors at will. It's remarkable. And I mean, he's jumping from sounding like an operatic female to sounding like an operatic male, to then sounding like a pop singer and belting. It's I mean, this is a reaction video. You could literally do like a 2-hour series on. There's so much going on here. So I don't want to belabor it, but this is really good. See, that's a little more pop. He's going from the little brighter as opposed to the wow. Wow. So now he's up on those really high notes. But rather than keeping it the real falsetto and the more rounded vowels, now they're really starting to open up. He's putting a little bit on them. But it's just gorgeous. And then back to the operatic sound. All right, he just did something really subtle and really cool there. I'm going to take this back because you could really miss it. He goes in to a very light falsetto, and as he sustains the note, he engages a little more depth, a little more contact of his vocal folds. And it gives us just a little bit more intensity of sound, and then he pulls it back, and he does it really quickly and really smoothly. That was it. One more time. Oh, and he opened up the valve just the slightest bit. This guy's really, really good. And this is a great example of when the right voice meets the right song. I mean, I'm unfamiliar with this song. It kind of has a Cirque du Soleil, very melodramatic type of vibe, very emotional, lots of highs and lows, and it's just the perfect vehicle for what he is able to do. Now, I will say, as singers can watch this, and you could get depressed because you would think, I can't measure up to that. How am I going to sing like that? Well, the good news is, well, first of all, you're likely not. I mean, if you look at the world's population and what people are given in terms of their vocal equipment from nature, this is very, very rare type of voice. So you likely don't have this gift, but you don't have to. Music is about expression and communication. And, you know, this idea of who's the world's best singer is like arguing, well, who's the world's fastest person? And even though now that is quantifiable, right? You could look at the time and say, well, this person is faster than this person. But then you would say, okay, but are you talking about a sprint, middle distance, marathon? And then there is no answer because it's going to be different people. And in music, you can't say that one person is better than another or that you have to be able to sing like this in order to be a singer. I will just tell you, you're likely not going to sing like this. This is an absolutely remarkable voice. And this is a person who took their gift, worked very hard at it, was also blessed by nature with really good looks, charismatic. But beyond the voice, if you're a fan of his or you're a singer, what's also very instructive is the way he communicates with the audience, the way he uses his eyes. And then he does this wonderful thing of before the next section of the song, he'll give you a cue as to what's coming up, and he'll make movements where you think, oh my gosh, something's big is coming. He's telepathing, he's giving you clues that, hey, there's something new coming, and his body language changes. And I really love at the end, he acts like he's got something big coming up, and then he just brings it down very delicately in order to end the song. So he just keeps your expectations hanging on. I mean, this is a performance. I don't care what type of music that you care to listen to. If you can watch this and not be engaged, I don't know. I just don't have that software in my brain. I mean, everything that he's doing is engaging me as a listener, as a viewer. I mean, I can watch him with my voice teacher brain, which I sometimes don't like to do because it's just always wants to analyze singers, but he also just engages me as an audience member, just as somebody who just wants to enjoy hearing another human being sing. And he also, and as many voices as I've heard, it's hard to get like really surprised by a voice. And he surprises me. He's absolutely remarkable. I had a lot of people request that I do an analysis of him, and I know why. If you're a fan, I totally get it. But this is a beautiful example of what is possible with the human voice at the extremes. And not everyone's going to be able to do this. Not everybody has to be able to do this. You should be inspired by someone like this, and it should inspire you to work hard, because this young man has worked hard. He is gifted, but he's also really worked at it. So just Dimash, If I had a hat, I'd tip my hat to you, and thank you everyone for recommending it. Hey, if you like what you hear, be sure to subscribe to my podcast, The Intelligent Vocalist. I break down all this science stuff, and also check out my website, johnhenny.com, and get on my email list. And I send out different thoughts about the voice, give you a heads up on new podcast episodes, and also let you know when I have new content and product out. So we will talk soon. Bye-bye.